You've done the journaling, you've repeated the affirmations, you've read all the books, you've done the masterminds, the coaching programs, the retreats, all of it. And so, why does it still feel like you're stuck at the same level, mentally, emotionally, and potentially even financially? Here's the truth. The truth is that most people aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. They're stuck because of what's actually happening underneath the surface. And unless you rewire the hidden patterns that are literally running your life, no strategy, no checklist, no motivation hack is going to ever create lasting change. Stick with me here till the end of the video, because in this video, I'm going to break down for you exactly what it is that you need to focus on to create that lasting change so you can finally live up to the potential that you know you have inside of you. So the first thing that we have to understand is this. Most of what's out there right now in the self-help, personal development, and mindset space is very, very surface level. If we look at how your mind works and compare it to this iceberg here, we've got the tip of the iceberg, which is the 5%. We call this the conscious mind. Okay. Now, what's underneath the surface is the 95%. You've likely heard before that we only use a certain percentage of our mind's capacity. The reality is we use as much as we are able to consciously. Everything else is unconscious. And so the 95% is your unconscious mind. Now, why is this so important? Well, which number is bigger, 5% or 95%? Obviously, we all know 95% is a larger number, and that is the 95% that literally runs your life. Okay? So why is it that most of the stuff that's out there right now, journaling, affirmations, vision boards, life coaching without unconscious reprogramming, counseling, and other coach types of coaching, why is it that they never truly work? Or if they do, they're very short lasting? Well, it's because they focus on the tip of the iceberg, the top 5%. Okay. So what do we have at the tip of this iceberg? Well, we have what I call symptoms of a presenting problem. Okay, so these are symptoms and these are the presenting problems. So what are some examples of this? Well, have you ever had or dealt with procrastination before? So procrastination can be a symptom of a deeper problem. What about perfectionism? What about self-doubt or imposter syndrome? What about feeling overwhelmed? All these challenges that you might be facing currently or have faced in the past are the symptoms of a deeper problem. Now, most of what's out there right now is trying to solve for this. It's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs surgery. It's not going to cut it, okay? So what do we actually have to focus on to create that lasting change? Well, this is where the unconscious mind comes into play. At the unconscious level, we have our thoughts, we have our beliefs, we have our identity, who we believe we are, and I like to add our values, because at the deepest core of who we are, we have our core values in each area of life, and our values dictate how we spend our time and how we evaluate the time that we've spent. So this is very, very key in determining our external results. And at the bottom here, we have our emotional baggage that is typically tied to a core problem, or some people refer to it as a core wound. Okay? Now, emotional baggage. We would refer to this as stuff. Have you ever had your stuff come up, right? If you've ever overreacted to a situation, if you've ever experienced a emotion or emotional charge that maybe was a little bit more intense than it should have been for what had actually happened, it's likely because you have emotional baggage that's really taking control. And so most of the stuff that's out there right now in the self-development space is focus on the conscious mind, when really what we need to look at is everything beneath the surface, the unconscious mind. Now, why is this so key? Well, I want to show you how we want to look at the conscious mind and the unconscious, okay? So let me just go ahead and show you this diagram here. Like I mentioned, we've got the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Most people, they attempt to work with their conscious mind. So let's say that you have a goal. So most people will set a goal or intention for the new year. As entrepreneurs and CEOs, you're likely setting 90-day targets. So let's say you've got this goal that you've set over here, okay? Now you've set this goal consciously. Your conscious mind sets the goal. Now, have you ever set a goal or had an intention to create a new habit and didn't hit it? You didn't create the new habit, you didn't hit the target, you didn't hit the goal. If you're like most people, the answer is likely yes. Okay, so why does that happen? Well, I'll explain it to you here. So this goal that you want to hit requires a certain behavior, set of actions. And so we set this goal, and the behaviors need to be lined up in order to achieve the goal. What happens instead is that the unconscious mind, which we refer to as the goal getter, has different plans. The unconscious mind is your internal programming, your internal operating system. And we like to refer to it as kind of like a trail horse. If you've ever ridden a trail horse or you've heard of one, trail horses are trained to follow the trail, meaning that if you're on a trail horse, they're either going to be following the trail or following the horse in front of it. If you try to pull that horse in either direction, to go to the left, to the right, or to turn around, it's going to yank you and pull you right back because it's been trained to follow the trail. That's its internal programming, okay? So your unconscious mind is like that trail horse. It's got a programming that you did not decide to program, and it's basically doing what it's always trained to do. So you've set a goal consciously, you start making some progress, and all of a sudden you look, and just a few weeks, a few months down the road, you've noticed that you've derailed. You're back to the same behaviors that you had before, and therefore you've got the same results or worse, okay? Because your unconscious mind, the goal getter, pulled you back in the direction of what you're used to. Make sense? So this is why we really have to pay close attention to the unconscious mind and how we work with it instead of against it, because there are quite a few things that can hold you back, like I mentioned earlier, right? We've got limiting beliefs that were formed as early as childhood. We've got emotional baggage that just hasn't been processed. Our unconscious mind, we are from the ages of 0 to 7 years old, we're running unconsciously. So anything that happens in our environment, our parents say something, our professors, friends, etc., these get programmed into our unconscious mind without us even realizing it. Even experiences like negative emotions such as anger. The first time you felt anger, maybe a parent or someone in your family said you couldn't have that toy or you couldn't have that ice cream, and you experienced anger. Now, the crazy thing is that during that time span, most people don't remember their memories before the age of 7. So there's emotional baggage you can't even remember that's clouding your vision right now today. Then at a deeper level, like I had referred to earlier, we've got our identity and our values. So conflicts in our identity and who we believe we are can absolutely derail your success. And so these are all the things that we really, really need to look at. Now, if you've ever felt like you are pushing a boulder up a hill, like you're trying so hard, you're hustling so hard, and you feel like you should be further ahead, and for some reason things are just not clicking, things still feel hard, and you're always having to work harder than you know you should be to even maintain the same level of success, it's because of these reasons, right? I want you to imagine each of these links in a chain. as a different experience, a different emotion, a different belief that you've held onto that you didn't choose to even have in the first place, that's pulling you back like a chain. Okay, so let's say we've got a emotion the first time we ever felt anger here. Maybe it's the first time we ever felt guilt or shame. Maybe it's the first time we ever felt fear that something was going to happen. Okay, hurt, future-based anxiety. We started feeling that in the present. And then we had a limiting belief of who says I'm good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not loved. And so all these things that occur in our life over the lifespan, right? Think about that. From the moment you were born up until now, you've experienced these. And if they haven't been properly released, then all that has been happening is these links in this chain have began to strengthen, right? So that chain is really, really long. And trying to run a marathon with a chain pulling you back is going to be exhausting. And so if you've lost motivation, focus, you're starting to burn out and feeling tired, it's because of this holding you back. So what we want to do is we want to break the chain. We want to start to break these patterns and release these negative emotions and limiting beliefs, because when you do, it's like taking a heavy backpack off, a backpack that was full of bricks while you're running a marathon, taking that off and feeling much lighter, being able to run towards the goal much easier and with a lot less effort. And so this is how you begin to create real lasting change. If this is resonating, and if you've been working so hard to grow but feel like something invisible keeps pulling you back, then I want to invite you to something powerful. It's called the Rewire Your Mind Workshop, a free 5-day experience where we dive into the unconscious programming that's been running your life. And we give you the tools to finally reset it and release it. We start Monday, it's completely free, and it could be that moment that changes everything for you. Go ahead and click the link in the description or the pinned comment to save your seat now. You've done the surface work. Now let's go deep and finally take care of this once and for all, because when you do, your life will change forever. Excited to see you there.